give it all to
special as fuck because I'm having a conversation with Malice.
That's fucking
and
dope.
I love hip hop, and if you read their, if you read, not even listen, go ahead for all the white people that are listening, go ahead and just pull up some of the lyrics and read the lyrics. You sure you want to hold your hand there the whole time?
I don't know. I'm trying to see. I might place it upside.
Place it, yeah.
Let me see if I can pull this up.
And then use the JBL and plug the JBL to hold it up.
Yeah. Mo saying reply to his text.
Move your water. Is that good for you?
Yeah, it's
good.
good. Perfect. Yeah.
Good shit.
Good shit.
So yo, Scrap, thank you for coming.
For sure. Thank you for having me.
Yo, no doubt. It's been a while in the making. What I kind of like about the podcast too is that, and if anyone that was watching them consecutively, if there are people like that out there, then Alex, we already talked about this, talking about having you on.
Yeah.
And one thing that I want to hold accountable to everybody is reference, right? So this is the Enlightened Entourage. This is Tourage. And I want to make sure that it stays real as fuck.
Yeah.
Right? So how do you do that? Because that would be a kind of difficult thing to do, right? To always be like, every single time I got a real individual on here. Well, not really. Why? Because real recognize real.
I guess you gotta show them who you with.
What up?
Right, cool. Go ahead.
Yeah, that Asian, Filipino, Italian, Native American, African just did 23andMe.
He said tell Muhammad to say he was first.
Muhammad was number one. True. He was number one. When he comes back on, the audio is going to be so much crisper, and he's going to have a nice intro like you do. That's also another thing I like is about the growth, right? You're going to be episode number 9, and I fucked up the audio on episode number 1. The lighting was nowhere near right on episode number 2, and just on 9 you're going to be able to see a decent difference.
Yeah, people can see they'll see the growth once they go through the videos.
And the growth and the journey, and that's what I was telling you why I'm going to show your Instagram right before this, why I'm going to show your SoundCloud. And then that's also why I plug and make a table of contents. So just so you know, throughout the conversation, I make a timetable of contents. So anyone who hits show more on YouTube will get to down to the second when either a certain moving subject comes up or a place or a book or a person or a song reference, something that means something. That way you could just go, copy, new tab, paste, and it'll get you to it.
Oh, that's
right.
Cool.
So I always think that's important as shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then it's funny how you watch the conversation go in momentum.
Flow, right? You'll see.
We burning too, so
yeah.
You're gonna, so
weren't we supposed to do like shrooms and shit? We talked about that.
You want them?
Not right now. No. I told you I've only really had it once. And I was like
twice, motherfucker.
Yeah, but that wasn't the same. That was like I had like 2 stems.
But still, you were
true.
Yeah, you take a quarter of Advil. You've had it.
Yeah, true. Because when who was it? Was it you or was Steve? That I was like, yo, I was like, this just got really weird. Remember how the dude was talking to us? Then his wife came up.
That wasn't me.
Were you there?
Must have been Steve.
No, but you were there. You were at the car where that guy came up and started talking to us. He was like drunk or something. He was asking for money.
Nah, I'm pretty sure that was probably the moment that I went to go and speak with Exposed TV.
Probably.
Yeah.
But then at that point, I realized I was like, damn. I'm like, this just got super interesting. And Steve was like, yeah, you're more weird shit. I was like, oh, this is so weird. Because I was like, yo, everyone that's walking by us at that moment was, did you see that other guy that said hi to us? He was like, yo, you guys, I forgot what he said. He was like, yo, you guys look super interesting. What are you doing? And he like chopped it up for like 10 seconds. It was like, yo, nice to meet you guys, and walked away. I was like, dude.
Yo, so wouldn't that
our energy's pulling like the
that's what I'm saying.
Right
so
now.
Wouldn't that so I've been, and I could already tell you're this type of person. I've been trying to use I'll be talking to my brother, and I'm saying, all right, yo, so we all make historical data sets in our head, right? If you're gonna look at something like a company, what are the things you want to pay attention to? That's business intelligence, adding pictures to the data, pie graph for your Excel sheet, right? Okay, so if you want to pay attention to shit ain't nobody studying. Like if you know when someone's staring at you, even if you don't see them, or why they say animals smell fear, or potentially why Wi-Fi could be fucking with bees, all that kind of shit. That's up.
Does it?
I think so.
Wi-Fi fucks with bees.
I mean, I just think we're naive as fuck to think we truly understand the sensory realm of all creatures on this planet.
Especially like wavelengths. Like I think that animals that are susceptible to like that type of thing. It's like, don't bees communicate and like dance? So
yeah,
you know, all these like cell phone like receptions and wavelengths and radio and shit going through the air.
Yeah,
it must fuck with them.
And if they ain't having conversations like you and I right now, then there's got to be some type of...
The bees are having conversations.
Well,
true.
I mean, but they're not with this type of wording. Or we don't even fucking know. It could be whatever.
Facts. That's why I'm super vegan, bro. Because like, besides the like 100% obvious like health benefits.
Yeah.
Because it happens instantly. You automatically 100% feel way better. Like, bro, why are we killing animals? That's so fucked up. And
that's
I feel
all you.
like word. I can't probably finish this.
Why are we killing animals?
Yeah, why are we killing animals? And like pigs, right? Pigs are like, I've seen things where they say where pigs are like smarter than dogs or as smart as dogs.
Yeah.
Right. So like, why are we? That's so fucked up. Just to eat them, bro. Like this. I feel like we've evolved so much that there's at least going vegan. I explored more different types of foods. And there's enough for you to not have to eat animals.
My brother is allergic to milk, and in a way,
a lot of people are now.
That was a blessing for him on the come up. Yeah. Right. Imagine being forced to take any dairy out of your diet. What that must do when your dairy's compromised. True. So here are my thoughts, and let's bounce this back and forth with each other. Right. That my friend Jamila, she's just with this whole, you kill an animal, you're killing an animal. And having that opinion that if you don't need to take life, then don't. And where I'm at now is, okay, so when I die, I want to have some type of a worthy death. I want it to be for a reason, right? So no one wants to die because you mowed into a fucking thing of bees, and you're allergic to bees and they sting you. Right. That would be some fucked up shit. And that's only a true story. Someone told me, and I was high and I was dying laughing, and I need to hide the dying laughing. But anyways, no one wants to die that way. You want to have a worthy death. And I don't know, it's kind of funny because if I boiled down all of life, well, it would kind of boil down to having a worthy death, meaning like wherever you were at that time, whether you're working worthy or you died worthy. So now I'm over here in the society with a type of human being that has evolved for hundreds of millions of years eating meat. Right. Okay. And now you have a society that is, as a group, there's way more of us, like 7+ billion, and now we're all talking. We could all see what all is going on. And what we see is corporations that have turned animals into digits. Right. And whenever you do that, you remove the soul. So when I say I want to start bow hunting, it's because I'm pulled in one way that says I want the meat that I ingest, which I believe through all human evolution, dependent on where you're from, right? What are you?
Well, I was born in Boston, Rhode Island, but Colombian. My parents are Colombian.
100%? Yeah. Okay, so then I think Scrap should look at like food trends that in that part of the world. But if you're from a part of the world that, hey, that culture was evolving and surviving on eating meat, then I think you might need meat. Like there are huge B12 deficiencies with some people that end up going vegan.
And like genetics probably play a part in that too.
Yeah, definitely play a part. You got so many different pieces to you. So then I go, if I kill an animal, I want to kill an animal in a way that means something that is actually worthy, because that means that I don't support everyone else. I still am eating meat. I'm not supporting the bad shit, the murdering that's going on the wrong way, but I am like some Avatar shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like people, you definitely evolve depending on like wherever you are on this earth, right?
Yeah.
Right. So like people, there's one thing that I saw once that said like people in certain parts of the world are only darker than others because their pigment, their genetics, their genes had to make their pigment darker so it wouldn't burn them. So then I think about that, and then I think about how black people are always discriminated against, and it's a thing on where Africa is in this world where people. So I think things like that are overlooked, and when it comes to the whole vegan thing, I think that it's culture. It's like lack of knowledge, because living in Colombia made me realize that it's just a lack of information. Like people don't know certain things just because the trend hasn't gotten there yet. Right.
Yeah, and life is so easy that we just listen and look to everything that's being pushed our way.
Right.
You don't even look for the music. Well, you probably do as a producer and shit, but most people don't even look for the music anymore.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it just comes to them. And it's whatever.
I want this kind of sound, and then the shit plays.
So I think that, with the whole food thing, I think it is fucked up that especially in the U.S., it's such an industry where, once you go vegan, you realize, and you go through that black hole where you start watching all these videos and all the fucked up shit that happens at these factories. And it is pretty fucked how
it is real
animals get slaughtered.
Real fucked up.
Yeah, it's fucked up. So I think that portion for me is definitely makes it worse in the U.S. So I feel like if you know that, and you still, if you know that the animals are being treated that bad, then you actually look at the nutritional portion of it. You realize that drinking cow milk doesn't really make sense because it has a lot of cholesterol, a lot of hormones. So you can find
a lot of hormones.
Right, you can find calcium, right?
And they give it to the motherfucking kids in the schools,
right,
with every meal.
Well, it's a gimmick. It's like
it's propaganda gated.
Propaganda, all that bullshit. So it's just all
it's money. It's smart. It's smart as fuck. It's real smart.
Yeah, they spend millions of dollars in advertisement that kids need milk because of calcium, but oranges have more calcium than milk does.
Yeah. So hopefully one day we could reverse market that scheme so that because if we're heading towards the golden age, and the golden age being, I'm pretty sure that's the time of pharaohs in Egypt or whatever, right? Then at some point you would want to hope that the things you instituted into the society were things that, okay, we have this entire biological makeup thing of each person, and now with a little fingerprint or touch of the blood,
I think
that you'll know. Let's feed them the right way, and let's use the same marketing we did evilly for good to help this population real quick,
right? And that's something that I'm looking forward to, as far as waiting to see when I'm 60, what the millennials came up with, because they're the ones that are really changing shit. They're the ones that are kind of pushing against what society has already established. So that's something that might happen. You never know. Millennials are they're killing it now as far as the younger generation, that the ones that are in they're 21 now in Silicon Valley, coming up with the next crazy shit. So I'm interested to see, and I feel like that will happen eventually. We'll get to that point where
we're getting too technological. Can we all agree that in the past year the world has had more advances and more changes than in the at least 5 to 20 years before then?
Definitely.
At least in certain avenues, it's
since
had
the
more
internet came out. Which was probably in the 90s, maybe.
Which is why if you respect your elders, this is a difficult time, and this is why millennials probably seem all that much more bad when they're actually probably better, but they seem that much more bad because they're over here now correcting things that. Listen, this is the only time in history that when your grandma or grandpa gives you advice as a real individual, they could still have no idea what the fuck they talking about.
Right, that's so true. That's definitely true.
Which puts everyone between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
That respect with your elders, and because
and that happens a lot with going back to the vegan thing when even with family, right? They'll ask you questions of why you don't eat meat? I'm yeah. So even trying to change their mind, it's hard because it's so embedded.
You run into that same struggle.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like we're definitely heading into interesting times,
which makes it a little bit easier on your soul. This advice that I heard more. Well, it seems like common sense advice, but it goes something like, whenever you're taking advice from anybody, whatever that is about, does that individual already live the life you want to live in regards to that?
So then you judge them based on that.
Well, yeah, and so you don't get caught up in that whole "this is my grandma, grandpa, mother, brother" thing, because you're really just going, wait a second, how do I want to live? Are they doing that now? Wait a second, are they older than me? How old are they? And they're not even doing that yet. And now now I don't want to call it preaching, but they're preaching to me on some shit. Right? Like, they're not living how I want to live. So I'm going to only take advice on how I want to live from people that what I'm asking them about, they already do very well.
True.
You know what I mean? And then you don't get caught up in the bullshit, because that's easy.
Yeah, man.
So if the biological advances come out and they say, scrap, right, you can, there'd be all spectrums, right? But you need meat. Right, or you're lacking in B12, or you're lacking in this, and that, and the normal traditional way of supplementing that is meat. But if you take blah 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 blah, and they get at you there, would you do it? And then would you think to yourself, okay, so it's healthier to me that I need to eat meat?
Right. So if that happened,
I know I'm
definitely like realistic. So if it came down to that, and I had to, I mean, I guess I'm accustomed enough to eating it where I can probably get it.
Okay.
If it was definitely no other way of getting it, I would definitely. I mean, I would probably, to survive. You got to. I mean, one of my biggest things is I feel like everyone needs to learn how to adapt.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So you just adapt. If you gotta do it.
So now you're a human and you're adapting to the way the world is today with factory farm shit, with depressed salmon. You know, there's such a thing.
It's so sad.
It's so sad. I'm sorry that I'm smiling. But for real.
So going back to like having these salmon like talk to each other, how depressing talks right before they get like caught or like killed. That's
yo, but the depressed salmon come from factory farming, and the reason why that they have called them depressed salmon is because they're 100% healthy. They have all the food that they could ever possibly want to eat, but like not the real shit. And there's mad other salmon. And salmon are a more aggressive fish. They're like trout. They're territorial. Like trout will bite at something just because it's up in their shit. They'll just go after it, right? So imagine a bunch of salmon. They're bossing each other around. Oh, I'm about to eat this shit, and then one comes in like boom, like you ain't getting that, and they're just getting hit and beat up, and then they just find salmon floating at the top of the pool, alive, like, perfectly well,
fucking numbed out, they're just chilling.
Yep.
It's crazy.
We should look to those examples for how we dealing with our fucking civilization, culture, people, population, whatever. You know? So then you find out you need to eat fish, and or if you're realistic and you think, okay, so now they're saying this is what's most healthy for my body, then how do you get it? And I've kind of jumped a few things in assumption going, it's healthier for my body because of the Italian, European. I'm more European than I am Southeast Asian. Right. So I'm more Italian and shit than I am Filipino and shit. I'm a mutt. Got some African in me too. Right. So word, right? Word. It goes back. But yeah, so how I think it should be is with a bow. With me only listen, I'm using some technology with a scope and whatever, but otherwise I need to be there early, and it's real work. When you hunt with a bow, some bow hunter
should do that. They should make everyone that wants to eat meat go catch it.
Yeah, but who they is controls the money, and that
definitely would have happened.
But that's what in the golden age would happen.
On some like purge shit, like the movie. Like if our times were like that different, you know.
Yeah. Have you ever read the book Tribe?
No.
Okay, I think you would actually really, really like it. And one of the reasons why I think the way I do is because I had a profound class in college that was something. See, my ass ain't even going to be able to remember the exact name, but it was something to the effect of the biological anthropology of human evolution. Now, the lab was bullshit. You up in there measuring and centimeter and like sizes of skull. But at the end of the day, the way I would sum up the class goes, the higher intelligence, all variations of the higher intelligence are included in the rest of nature on this planet in different subsets. So, for example, there's different types of monkeys and marmosets and shit like that they wean both parents wean the kids the entire time, and then there's some where the mom's a slut and the dad takes care of them, and there's some where the dad's a slut and the mom takes care of them. But they're by species, right? If they're a certain species, then they only hold that characteristic. And what you tend to see change as intelligence gets higher is more variations in the way that animal, that thing acts. Like, for example, monkeys would lie to the rest of their clan and be like, there's a motherfucker trying to rob us, it's a danger, get out of here. And they all bounce, and then 2 monkeys stay behind and they rob the other monkeys and put that shit in their shit.
That's fucking smart.
Yeah, it's more it involves more intelligence to carry through, right? So
that's crazy. That actually goes on.
I
I just thought monkeys swung on trees all day and just fucked around.
Well, we would, wouldn't we? Look
Right,
at the shit we getting taught.
Mm-hmm.
Like America too.
Right.
You went to school in America. America teaches you so little about the rest of the world. Most of your history class that you're forced to do, and if you ain't doing AP history or civics or none of that, is teaching you shit about America. That still ain't really true, because how we even won the Civil War and shit like that had a lot to do with help from blacks. Oh yeah, and killed them all.
Being killed.
Yeah.
This is like rape.
Well, they corrected that in the books.
That's so fucked.
They corrected that. And have you ever seen Interstellar?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in Interstellar, they be talking like we corrected in the books also that we never went to the moon. They talk about us correcting shit.
I missed that. Do you think we went to the moon?
I want to believe it, and as far as I'm concerned, we did. Yeah. But if someone told me we didn't, then I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, I watch way too many YouTube videos to like be 100% on anything.
Yeah, but then you got that whole thing where, okay, so all right, so what do you want? Us to have gone to the moon or us to haven't gone to the moon? All right, let me rephrase that. Yeah. Do you want us to, what does Scrvp want more? That we went to the moon, or that there was this thing embedded in our government and this blah, 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 and this scheme that hit it and made it and pulled it off back when technology wasn't a thing yet and hit it that we didn't go. Which one do you want more?
Second one.
The second one.
Yeah.
So when you look for information that supports the second one, you're always reading from that mind frame. Right. And then there is a lot of logical shit that shows up. Things.
Yeah. It's not so much on like because I want it to be true or not. I just feel like it would be interesting and it would put me in a like I like questioning things. I want to think that all the conspiracies are true, just to kind of give ourselves like be curious about, because I hope that in my lifetime I get to see some crazy shit like we actually find out where we actually came from or some evolution, something crazy happens. So I'm always hoping for like the more dramatic.
Yo, we're gonna get some dramatic shit.
I hope so.
By the time we're 60,
that's why I'm trying to keep low key. I'm just trying to live till I'm like 100 and something.
Yo, I know, me too. And I think that life expectancy has a lot to do with happiness.
True. Yeah, definitely. Yo, stress is a killer, man. Yeah. I believe stress definitely causes cancer and can definitely put you in places.
100%. And I think we're going to find out a lot more about that over the course of the next 10, 20, 30 years. But I think we're just starting to look at that. And if you were supposed to get to the golden age, then that would be along the path is getting better at the mistakes, right? Writing books on how it should have been.
Yeah, exactly. True. Yeah, and like mental health and all that. I mean, poor mental health is crippling, bro. It'll cripple you. So I think definitely trying to be happy and just doing things that you like and living a positive life definitely can, make you live a longer life.
Yeah, and so there's things that show the more when you do something, the more controlled that you feel doing it, that equates to more stress, equates to more manifestations in like physical ways as well. Right. So, and just like, all right, so, and lately I've been telling people, especially the ones that yell at other people for smoking or drinking or doing whatever it is that you view as an addictive habit or anything like that, which is, I think, for all men, that for one man, smoking and drinking can save his soul. And for the other, it can completely demolish him. that
I think so.
that the
That's
goal,
definitely true.
right? And now, and how, okay, oh, so you're telling me there's a 50% chance. No, I'm telling you that when you decide to, when you're sitting and you're thinking in your own head, because first step to true enlightenment is understanding you're not the voice in your head, you're the one that listens to it. And you're listening to that voice. If that voice is telling you, you're fucking up, you shouldn't be drinking, this is bad, you're gonna get lung cancer, then you need to stop.
Right.
That's an example of the man that it destroys his soul. But if you're over there like, I'm gonna smoke a fucking cigarette,
if you're a good drinker, you know, more power to you. I mean, there's people that drink. I mean, going to Colombia, right? You see all these like older people that are still drinking, still partying, and they're still going, and they're they're not crippled by their age at all.
Word.
Or people that smoke cigarettes till they're like 90 something.
They're probably happier as a whole,
and they're
too.
fine. They have perfect, their lungs are fine. I mean, definitely. I definitely think that it all depends on the person, and I'm not a good drinker. Like I stopped drinking because I realized that alcohol just isn't for me. I don't like how I am when I lose that much control of like myself.
I got you.
Because I'm a control freak. So
did it happen? Did you hang on? You don't drink alcohol, or you do?
I do, but very little. Not as much as I used to at all.
Yeah. So I'm in a similar developmental point. Like nowhere
right
near. I mean, how old are you?
I'm 29.
Yeah, and I'm about to be 29. So it's like, okay, everyone our age has enough historical data, if you will, to compare
to
whether
get your
or not
shit together.
Yeah. Not to mention just the tolls on the body.
Right, and the whole, I did the nightclub scene. I DJed for a long time in clubs, and I realized that if 90% of the time when I'm sober, I'm one person, and then when this small window of times, it was 4 hours a night, from whatever club shift was, I'm a different person. And every time I'm that different person, bad shit happens. I'm smart enough to be like, nah, I don't want to be there. Like, let me just take that portion out of the equation, and then everything just got better.
Exactly. So that would be a man whose voice on the inside of his head is saying things like bad shit happens every time. Right. For me, if I drink too much, one of the main reasons why I stopped is because I sweat anxiety.
Oh, really?
The next day, I mean,
why are you drinking?
No,
the next day.
The next day.
Really?
But that's still enough for me to be sweating anxiety and then internally think to myself, yo, like, this is not good.
Yeah.
If you're telling, if this is a practice that every day, the day after, you need to go through X amount of time at X amount of physical function lower than normal and feel this anxious and this whatever, then that's the man also inside my head being like, this isn't good, right? Yeah. So now correct that, because my grandfather, I think that motherfucker, I don't know, he definitely had an alcohol problem, but I think that motherfucker was just like, I want to drink, I'm going to drink. I don't think he felt like shit the next day.
Yeah, and there's people that don't. I mean, my hand goes.
I mean, he probably did a lot, but like, you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. I just think you have to try to figure yourself, once you get older, you figure yourself out. And if you want to be successful, I mean, I read up a lot upon entrepreneurs, and you have to live a certain kind of like structured, in control lifestyle to be able to get shit accomplished. Like one of my goals, and one of the things I tell people, I'm like, my goal is to be a millionaire somehow. So the pursuit of that, and just knowing that I have to live a certain lifestyle, like every entrepreneur that I know either wakes up early, meditates, or goes to the gym, has some type of like morning ritual. And mine is going to the gym. So I think knowing all that information, I just try to follow a lifestyle. And while I'm following that lifestyle, I figure out that like I enjoy it, and positive things happen, and and it's an easier life to live than. One with
less roadblocks.
Yeah,
you're going more with your momentum,
right? And you're accomplishing things that you like. I think once you start accomplishing goals, then you're like, okay, I want to do this. Now I want to do this. Now I want to see if I can do this. And you're always like,
and I think anxiety is stewing on the inside, and then maybe it's not top. Maybe it's not. I do too, but crazy. I mean, we're in a day and age where there's more information than ever. Like,
you think that's why anxiety is high?
I mean, I just think that's one of the reasons high. I think that the primary reason why anxiety is high is because yes, there's more information than ever, and there's a bunch of this crazy shit going on. But what's also happening is on a mass scale, we're giving a propaganda type culture that says life is supposed to be like this. This is what successful is. This is what getting in. This is the American dream. But when the path to the American dream and living the life, that's why once you enlighten, Joe, you realize how much of this is bullshit and what doesn't matter. Because the path to it and maintaining that path is shit like going and sitting in a box every day and just sitting down on a computer, not the way that your biological evolution, anthropodic evolution, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
You're supposed to be all like hunting your food. And
why'd we stand up in the first place?
Right.
Not to sit down.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So I think that all of the things encompassing that have to do with health and now what we put into our bodies, and this is right and wrong, and rich wheat flour and high fructose corn syrup and everything. So let's put all this shit into our bodies. That is a recipe for, at minimum, anxiety.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I definitely have a lot of anxiety. Which is why one of the reasons why I smoke, because it helps that, and it also, it depends on what I smoke, but it enhances it, or I don't have a one-track mind. Like it's hard for me to sleep in the daytime sometimes. Well, almost all the time. Until recently in Colombia, me and my girl did this thing where we were trying to take like 25-minute naps.
That's good for you.
We were trying to do like 4 in a day or something and sleep only 4 hours. And
damn.
Yeah. It's like it's a system, but it's supposed to like help productivity.
Okay.
And, it's like with different sleep cycles.
And when were you going to bed and when were you waking up?
Whenever. You just sleep for the day.
So was that instituted in part because of your lifestyle and what you already do?
No, I came across something where someone did it, and I was like, some entrepreneur did it. And he was like, he has that sleep schedule, so I tried it.
Word.
And we did it for like a few days, and you do see the difference. It's insane how like sleeping for 4 hours, you wake up, it's probably still dark out. You stay up for 4 hours, and then you sleep 45 minutes in between. So you 45 minutes, 4 hours, 45 minutes, 4 hours, like that. And it just seems like one long day, constant power naps. Like you're constantly rebooted as soon as you wake up, ready to go. It's like you don't need. It's crazy because you don't need that much sleep. There's no lag in the day. Nothing. At the beginning, there's like it's weird because your body got to get used to.
Yeah, and for everyone listening, this is also when you're at a point in time in life where you've switched up cultures, you've switched up diets, and I
have all the time in the world to do something like that.
Exactly.
You definitely can't do that if you have a day job. 9 to 5. We tried that and that helped my anxiety a little bit. But I can't sleep during the day because I can't shut my brain off. I can't. It's
no, I know the feeling.
That type of thing. So. But I've also, when you hone in on I see it as like kind of like a pit bull in a cage. Like that's my anxiety. So once you figured out how to hone it and use that energy to do something else, it works. Yeah,
then that's the definition of putting the fear behind you to push you.
Right. So what I do is, in music helps, production helps.
Yeah, so what I've similar struggle, and what I've kind of figured out and am starting to implement now is in a way, it's like do more work. At the end of the day, I think it gets summed up as you need to be here now. And being here now in the moment means less chit-chatter up in your brain. Right. And anxiety, I only think really happens when you have more chit-chatter up in your brain. Yeah. So how can you kind of find a workaway around that? Do something. So when people say it's meditative to go to the gym, and I used to always say when I got 200 plus pounds over my head and I'm repping it out, I can't think about anything else. Yeah. So I think anything that gets you out of because when you do it, you can't think about anything else is a nice way to life hack anxiety along with diet and good sleep. Because guess what, if you smart enough to want to care and think about diet, good sleep, seeing your friends often enough and everything else, well, you you got to pay you need to pay attention to it more and set up a life that provides that. Because up until you do, the chit chatter in your brain ain't gonna shut up because it's something you want to do that you're not doing. Anything that you want to do that you're not doing, that there isn't work being applied to do, the chit chatter's too much.
Anxiety is just a bunch of energy that you need to channel. You need to if your brain's really going that quick, you need to put it to work.
Yeah.
do something.
And like stress, one of my more favorite things I heard about stress was, because I got favorite things. Was
I got my favorite disorders.
Yeah, yeah. Oh shit, I got my disorders. But was stress is your body's way, or the stress is the way your body tells itself it needs to move.
True.
Right? You need to do something, right? As if you were like me and you're sitting at a desk for 8 hours plus, more like 10 to 12 a day.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, come on now. You're restructuring with a cast. You're restructuring the way your body should be.
Yeah.
Right. And like, I need to fix my posture. Like, I gotta be more. My brother's better than I am with it.
I mean, those were all reasons why. Like, when I was younger, I was like 20. I was like 20 years old. I was like, fuck this. I'm not working anymore. Like, I quit my day job, and I was like, I'm just gonna do music full time. I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna get super healthy and just like live slow, live slow, and really enjoy my life. And I can say that I enjoy my 20s to the fullest. The first was definitely blurred because of all the partying and alcohol, but I definitely have done whatever I wanted, and I figured myself out to the point where I'm like, okay, now I'm almost 30. Now I can like definitely take advantage of the rest of my life because I figured myself out so far. I just got it. Now I have more time. Now I see the rest of my life as like an open runway.
Golden years.
Yeah, I'm good. I got the bullshit out of the way.
Yeah, because you're being you now more often.
Right. And it takes a while to figure yourself out.
It does, and I think that's why when you're more developed than most people older your age. Have you always felt that way? That you were?
I've been told when it was funny that you say that, because when I was younger, I had this like old guy tell me at some job that I had, he's like, you're an old soul. And he would always tell me that. Was the weirdest thing. You would say goodbye, be like, goodbye old soul, or he would just randomly mention it and he'd be like, yeah, and I'd be like, why you say? He's like, no, I can tell you're an old soul. So maybe
you're on more lifetimes. I think so. Then I guess I need to wake up every morning and say my thanks for that, because what we don't see with the struggle is how lucky we are for the evolution of a certain point that's going to have how many years of fun, comfortable life you want to live. The retirement years that are fakely promised to you, and no more Social Security and shit, like that's all gonna fall apart. You need to count on having some type of asset that's built, that's bringing back, or else you done.
And you definitely have to start young, because I mean, it's a young man's game, and you can see all these like young millionaires that are popping up like on all these YouTubers and stuff. Yeah, these kids are making money young, and you get to a certain age where you can't get this. If you're 45, 50, they won't hire you in certain places. Yeah. So definitely the structure, and just society is all bullshit. Like that whole structure of how. I think that the more free you live, and the more more like self-aware, and just really do what you want to do and not worry about what society implies. Like I stopped caring about like having a nice car, or like because I had it, or having all these things, or like really fancy clothes. I kind of just went for like, nah, that shit doesn't matter. It didn't make me happy. So now I was like, all right, now I want to move to Colombia. I want to live the life that I want to live on my terms. I do whatever I want. I applaud you for that. Yeah, so that, being 29, I think that maybe I'm a little ahead of my game, but it's something that I try to tell all my friends. I try to tell all my friends the same thing. I tell them like, yo, like what do you like to do? Go do that, because it can probably make you some money. Like, don't live the routine like 9-to-5 job and be miserable. It's like such a not happy way to live. Yeah, I'd rather live broke and happy than rich and like.
Me too. And it was funny at the time in my life where that flip really set in, because I remember telling my mom, because my parents are divorced, like yo, I used to want the house. I used to want so bad when we were living in this little spot to be in a house. Yeah. We got the house and I got a little bit older, and I remember it flipped, and I remember just being like, whatever you want to do to be happy, I'll happily go back. That's why I resonate with J. Cole real heavy when I understand what he means when he says that he liked being poor better because of certain aspects of it. Now,
and there's way too, if you look at it, there's way too many miserable like rich people.
That was a subject on the last podcast.
Yeah, so I think that you just got to take in all this information and just figure out how you want to live, and I mean, as long as I have food, as long as I can have some food and have a nice place to live, and doesn't. I mean, I moved to Colombia and it's fucking amazing, bro. It's the whole day-to-day life is so different from here that I can stay living in Colombia for a few years, like just stay there, and I'll be the happiest person ever, bro.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper. I was telling Nicky, wow, how much?
Yeah, it is. It is super cheap, and so for someone that, if you can make money, if you have your own business, then you can make dollars, or you can make a currency that that you can change it over and use in Colombia. Definitely do it, because like $100 goes a long way, bro.
Yeah. Well, what's the rent like?
So rent
about what would it be for like a 3-bedroom?
With like $500, $500, you can get like a really dope like 2-3 bedroom with like 2 bathrooms in like a really nice place, like a suburbs. With $500 you can live in the suburbs with like a nice condo, pool,
beautiful weather,
condominium type shit, in the city,
beautiful booties.
$500, bro.
Colombia, oh my gosh.
So I did the math, and I was like, not just to save money, I feel like I was getting more for my money anyways, because I was living in somewhere that was amazing. That is amazing. And I also was like, all right, well, the money that I'm saving from not living in the States, that's just more money for me to invest in myself.
Yeah.
So
that was what you want to do.
Right. So then I was, it was kind of like a no-brainer. My lease was up in my apartment. I told my girls, like, yo, we're going to sell all this shit, just move. And I went first, and then she went a few weeks later.
Word. That's the way life should be. Yeah,
and actually, in living there, has just made me want to live in other places.
Yeah.
Like, I really want to move to Egypt for like 6 months. So living in Colombia is cheap enough where I can probably go live somewhere else and then come back. And you know what I'm saying?
What a lifestyle that supports.
So it just opened the door to just more freedom.
Yeah.
Like learning and shit.
Have you ever seen Exit Through the Gift Shop?
No.
Okay, so it's
a movie?
Yeah, it's a documentary like movie about the street art, and the main dude that films all the street artists throughout the beginning of the revolution, and it runs into Banksy. You know who Banksy is, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm watching that, and my thoughts on Banksy are just like, look at this motherfucker. Jump right in like Bruce Wayne, like just straight up saying, this is my planet and I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do with some style wherever I want to do it. And I had like a hell amount of just admiration for that, because for me at any job, them saying, oh yeah, and you get a fully paid 2 weeks. Are you kidding me? 2 weeks?
Yeah.
That's what I get. Even in sales, they were like, you can take as much vacation as you want, PTO, but you still need to hit a quota, which they understood was impossible to do in the fucking first place. So you ain't never going to go on vacation.
You ain't never going on vacation.
And we got you traveling on the weekends for us.
Like, for failure, bro.
Yo, they really do. You be a yes man to the day you die, and they will fucking clip you in 1 second with a company reorg at will contract. Fuck that. I don't have no room in my life for that shit no more.
So wait, do you work at?
Nah, if I ever work for a corporate company again, it's gonna be very clear before I ever go in. Fuck that.
Fuck yeah, bro. There's so many ways you can make it work to live.
There is,
a life,
and I'm realizing. And this, I was telling Nick, right, and I told a few other people. I'm like, okay, so I got a serving position, which was the one thing holding this little bit of financial. Don't just dry out what you have left until you're on your
make
last.
Some money.
I was already getting close, like 2 months away from being in the complete shitter with no real money possible to do on my fixed costs and all that, right? So I got the serving position, and now it's between serving at a restaurant and the Wilbur, and doing two different things. And not only am I not worried about doing either one, because I just know a certain number is fixed and I'm going to invest my time in myself to be better and get paid more doing other things.
Right.
I told Nick, I'm like, I'm going to make nowhere near as much money when I was at that 6-figure job doing whatever as I am now. But I don't have this anxiety about me,
Right,
because I'm doing I'm doing me now. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm happier.
Right, and that's when you can't put a price on that.
No,
you can not be making the same amount.
Or
of
you
money,
can, and it ain't nothing. Any of those companies are gonna pay you for 25 years straight.
Right,
millions and millions of dollars is not worth enough to take that from me.
I think that an hour of my life is worth more than $20 an hour.
Yeah.
Like, and especially shit you can't get back. So nah, bro. I mean, like we're saying, there's definitely ways where you can make it work.
For sure.
And I think that you just need to become. I mean, there's a lot of factors I feel like why people don't chase it. I mean, some people are scared. They're not comfortable taking that leap.
Culture telling you need to live.
Right.
Oh my God, my ego's getting hurt because they say I should be like this. I should have this fancy car.
Right.
I need a 2-bedroom by now.
Right.
Whatever.
All these rappers have leased shit. Like, that's not the real shit. You know, a lot of these people stunt on. I mean, it's all. Like what I tell a lot of people, social media is becoming reality. So YouTube is the next form of TV because all I do is watch either YouTube or Netflix. I don't watch regular cable.
Me too.
And like all the the feed feature, all these videos that you're watching, you're you know, why are vloggers so popular? Because I found myself watching vlogs that have a catchy title, and I'm sitting there for like 15 minutes, like, because I'm like, this is kind of interesting. I saw a video of this dude sneaking into Coachella, and I watched it for like 14 minutes, bro. So you know what I mean. So and this dude had like
that's in the real niche,
right? So that's kind of how you know what life's becoming.
It is. So I think in the 90s when you saw rappers, everyone thought they were all rich as fuck. I think now we all realize that a path to true success is not going to involve that at all. It's going to involve a lot of sleeping on couches, a lot of asking and giving and getting for favors, a lot of showing up at different hours, all that kind of shit, right? But what that video did for you and what this podcast does is out of all the bullshit that's flooding the media wave spectrum, that they're throwing your way ads and everything, it all is structured in some way, meaning people need to sit down and say, first talk about this, then talk about this, and then do this ad, and then or push this ad, or hey, listen, this is supposed to be a real interaction, but hey, he's showing up because he got invested interest in this to make money, and so is the other person. And what this fulfills is not that. You're showing up and I'm showing up because I want your time. Like, I want to spend time with you. And then you get this real interaction between two people in a conversation that you don't see anywhere else. Right. And people will sit in for an hour.
Yeah, definitely.
Versus 20 minutes on a TV show. Dude,
there's a lot of people out there bored.
Oh,
interesting.
They watching,
and that's why all this social media is so popular. Because like, why do you, like the fact that people can have an inside view of what Kim Kardashian's life is every day. That's why she has so many followers. Because there's a lot of regular 9-to-5 people that are, you know, that don't have anything. That don't work in any type of media,
aren't doing what they want to do. And
you're right, they're just living a regular life, and they they want to see what this fabulous lifestyle is like. And people that are somewhat in the industry or in the media know that that's not true. Know that that record labels give these guys a budget to rent out fucking whips and that
say
that
not
true.
Brody was just on and he was saying about in the rap game how like you could pay to take pictures next to someone else and then post it.
Dude, you can pay for Instagram
anything.
shoutouts.
It's all it's pay to play. It's all pay to play.
Yeah,
so, but then you got the opposite end of the spectrum showing that the real is working, because you look at these niche things like podcasts, like Joe Rogan's podcast, or the fact that double-digit millions tune in every day to watch other people play video games.
Right. That just goes to show that,
But why is that happening? Well, there's nothing fake in that video. Maybe we want to judge from the outside looking in and be like, because, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't spend my time doing it. But why are millions, double-digit millions, so engaged? Well, they're engaged in something that's a window into real.
Right. Yeah, and
that person playing the video, that's them playing. Right. That's them excited.
Dude, like, I started playing Fortnite, and I find myself I watch like my little brother watches a lot of videos of other people playing Fortnite, and then I looked at his phone and I was wondering why he was looking at someone who's playing, and it's because the kid on the screen was nasty and was kind of doing certain things. He had a certain pattern of how he played, and my little brother was kind of just studying it. So I was like, so you trying to learn? He's like, yeah, I'm trying to learn from him so I can get better at Fortnite. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that there's a bunch of kids doing the same thing.
Yeah. And your little brother actually told you that. I think there's a lot of people that may not even have the audacity to go out and say to someone else that they're doing it because they want to learn Fortnite.
Right.
Which, you know, so I know this homie Scrap, he got a certain kind of style. He a DJ, producer, he mixes. He decided, fuck that lifestyle. He went to Colombia. He trying out all this different shit to be better for his health. I'm listening, I'm watching, I'm following.
Some insight.
That's what I'm, you know what I mean?
And that does, definitely. That's why, you know, I watched, I was in Colombia when I watched the other episode, Alex's episode. And I sat, and I know Alex, right? I've known him for years, and I still sat down and watched the whole thing.
Word, thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate that.
Sure. Yeah, man.
Okay. Pick two numbers between 1 and 36.
33 and 17.
Okay, so now I'll break it down. So like I'm gonna have something where people could like shake up and pull out of it. And I don't know, maybe I told you or maybe I told Edgar, who I want to have on here. But have you ever heard of that game that there's 36 questions that you and any other person in the entire world, any age, any sex, any ethnicity, whatever, if you and one other person sat down and actually both engaged and answered these 36 questions, that no matter what, regardless of the differences, you will love the individual in front of you before or by the end of the game. Now, everyone wants to get their little fucking egotistical minds caught up in thinking love is on a significant other level. No. Love is in everything. I love when I dance in the rain and smell flowers and my own cologne. Like, I love shit, right? Everyone loves everything. So loving the other individual, first we all need to get over this ego gap of like, that's homo or whatever. But either way, did you ever hear of this game?
No.
Okay, so you were 33 and 17?
Yeah.
Word. All right, so I'm going to put it in a cup so it's randomized, but because I didn't think you had known about it, I'm fine with going on my phone. Because I did Brody yesterday and then you, so then back to back, I was just, didn't have time to print it. It could have been quick, but I want to put logo on it.
Yeah, nice.
Okay. 33, and I think they get deeper as they go, which will be the good thing to hide in the shake up because some people just go one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got 33 first.
Yeah.
All right. So, oh god damn. All right. So, if you were to die this evening with no opportunity to communicate with anyone, what would you most regret about having told someone, and why haven't you told them yet?
All right. What? But that doesn't make sense. If I've said it, why would I regret of not telling them yet?
No.
Something that I want to tell them.
Yeah. So if you were to die this evening with no opportunity to communicate with anybody, what would you most regret about having not told someone, and why haven't you told them yet?
Let's see. I would regret not giving like someone, and this probably sounds fucked up. This is you can tell what my brain's always thinking about. If that were the case, I would regret not telling. It doesn't matter who either like my girlfriend or Alex or someone that helps me with the label. Not giving the password to like everything, to the vault.
Gotcha.
Because I think that they wouldn't, like, shit would just fall. And I kind of want that to be my legacy, like that, to keep running, keep going.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because even like literally 3 days ago when my brother was here and Nick, because I'll tell Nick whatever, I'm talking about the same thing. I just tell them the 3 variations of the 3 different passwords that I have and what they could be.
Right.
Like you need to, like I got every conversation with every Uber driver, every lift. There's some gold in there. Right. So I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Now let me just ask you, and you don't need to get into it, but was there something else that went that deeper to the core with one specific individual that you just wouldn't, I mean, clearly, like, respectively so, wouldn't want to air it out on air?
No, not really. I mean, I don't think that there's anything, like, negative that I would want to, I mean, anything that I would regret not telling anyone would be something lovey, right? Like, you know, something to that effect. But I think that everyone that knows me and knows me that I'm a certain type of person. So I'm affectionate, but I'm not. So I feel like if I were to go, everyone would know.
How you would have felt about the situation.
Right, how it would have happened. They would have known, like, all right, cool, like.
Because I think a lot of people hear that and they go to and I'm sorry that they didn't give. Because don't you notice in today's day and age, but haven't you also noticed that like some people would rather not say I'm sorry and not talk to you for the rest of their lives than say I'm sorry and replenish the relationship.
Yeah, I think if a relationship matters to you, then you should definitely, you know, worry about, you know, taking care of it. I don't think I have anyone that I haven't said sorry to that I want to have a relationship with, and I don't. I think that everyone that I'm pretty easy on letting people go. So in the sense where if you're not good for me, I'm okay with it, and it's a reality. Two people aren't always supposed to get along just because of differences. So I always try to mend relationships that matter, or at least like make an effort to make them work.
Yeah, that's been a reoccurring theme of the guests on here.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's less
they're more
stressful.
real people.
Holding a grudge is more stressful.
Exactly. You're doing more damage to your own soul.
Right. And I think I'm not the type to like disappear on someone or not tell you why I'm not like fucking with you anymore. Like you know, I'll tell you and I'll make it clear. I'll let you know it's because of this and that, and that we might, you know, split ways, but it won't be like you won't know why.
Yeah. So, all right. I feel that I mean,
you gotta keep it. I'm just a dude that I just like to keep it real. It's easier to tell the truth than to lie. Lying is just so much work. Yeah. I don't have time for more work. I'm just
stuck thinking how awesome it is that it's been a reoccurring theme that the real people I bring on this podcast all have this same stick and move mental when it comes to what's good for them and what isn't, and there's less stewing.
Yeah, because you can't. I think if you want to be successful, you have to try to shake off any negativity. Like you can't have that shit lingering because it'll cost you growth.
Yeah, it'll cost you being here now.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right, 17. Let's see what you got on this one. All right, so what is your most treasured memory?
Damn, that's a good one. Let's see.
And even when I'm interviewing people in a job and I ask them their favorites, their best, their worst, I go, don't think about this too much. Just the ones that come to mind quickest. Just like when you're taking a test. Oh, is it B? Okay, go B.
Treasured memory. It has to be with like. I don't know. Nothing pops up, but I think it would have to. If we want to talk like music, it would have to be like the first time that.
Oh, this will probably. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of one memory, which is probably really fucked up.
No.
But I don't know. I think the memory of.
Or even if you thought about influential, you
right?
Also,
I was gonna say that. I think that the one thing that I saw that changed my life was when I saw the X-Ecutioners, the DJ crew performing.
The X-Ecutioners.
And that's like and I was really young when I saw that, and it was just it must have been like on BET or something on MTV, and they were just all doing their thing because it was like 6 or 7 DJs that all cut up and played at the same time and made a song.
Word.
And I saw that and I was like, yo, that's crazy. And then from there, the bug bit me, and that was it. So I think that memory, and it's always that. And I know I was super young, and I don't remember seeing them any other time, just that one time. So I think that I saw that, and just like
they have mad style, like
it was just cool, and
they're people you'd want to be.
Yeah, I don't even remember why I really liked it. I just know that I did, and then I caught I remember downloading this like DJ program and getting like old turntables and just trying to figure it out, you know, on my own.
Word.
Or like recording mixtapes from like the radio and like, you know, just doing shit like that. I feel like that was the earliest memory, and I saw that and I was like, oh, that's cool.
And one more time, what were they called?
The X-Ecutioners.
The X-Ecutioners. Yeah. So I'll throw that in the timetable of contents too.
Yeah, they were dope.
Yo, that's I love hearing about the things that end up playing a real big influence, and like whether you know how it impacts the rest of your entire life. Like it could be one little small moment. And so that's kind of what we were talking about before the podcast about starting to do, right? Because I've been wanting to start just different producers who come through and play their different beats and mix it and have fun, while there's about 5 to 10 people doing a cypher that is all off the top of the dome.
Yeah,
I don't want none of this coming with written shit and make it activity and film it, making a promotional video. And then also like a rhythm roulette where you take each producer and you walk into the record store and you watch them go through albums and pick a few, and then you make like a 20-minute video of them going in and out of and highlighting some of the Boston producers and scene, rather than just mass appeals rhythm roulette.
Yeah, I think like you should have like the pre-selected samples that they like pick out of or like play roulette and whatever lands on or some shit.
Yeah. So I thought about that, and I was like, is it completely random or is it whatever? And then I needed to decide what would be more worth it for the audience, watching the producer pick, maybe not preset, but what they truly have no idea what they want, or maybe they know because they've been feeling they need certain drums or certain whatever, and then they go and get and showing them more of the real thing than just because some people are gonna get the shaft.
Yeah, no, well, I think that if you were to do it, I mean, I'm thinking that as if I was a contestant. I think that if someone was like, we picked this roulette, whatever you got, and you had 10 minutes to make a beat out of it, you can do it in 10 minutes. So I think if you did it in a time frame, I think a producer that's creative enough can flip anything into anything.
For sure.
So sure. I think having it like where you have 10 minutes and then whatever you got, and basing them off of that, I think that.
See, I would end up just doing little clips of them in their creative process, because I feel like if I told them 10 minutes, then they all create differently. Like, I'm the type of person, I might need to just listen to something 5 times before I decide on what I want to start to play with, and then there's other things where I know what I want to play with.
I guess that would be like the competition, right?
That would
see what they come up with.
But then the producer that doesn't do it in a short amount of time, who's really ill, doesn't get some light there. True. I could limit the amount of time I film with them. Hey, I'm gonna only film clips for X amount of time.
True. It could be like
What did you want to do though? What we were talking about?
I wanted to do so the other name of the label that I started up is called Plugged Records.
Plug?
Yeah. So I've done
PLUG?
Yeah. PLUGGED Records. Plugged.
Okay.
I wanted to do kind of this like a recorded, do like a podcast setting where a bunch of producers just come and play their beats. And have like have like 3 or 4, no, probably like 3 guests, judge them or just feedback. If they want feedback, just listening. We'll go through beats, and then maybe we'll do like a spontaneous kind of like competition or something.
Word.
And then just
kind of like what that dude was going to the other night.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that along those terms.
That'd be dope.
It would be dope. Yeah, actually.
How long you back for?
A few months. 2 months, the minimum. Definitely.
So let's film one.
Yeah, we can do it.
Film one. Every time I get an idea, I need to dumb it down times 8 because I realize my ideas already require way more work than everyone else's.
Yeah.
So then I gotta dumb it down a little bit.
Yeah, I think that'll definitely be dope.
Word.
Getting some producers and just playing some shit.
Word. Well, is there anything that you want to particularly shout out? MMXVAC? Or like anything? You got anything new? What are your most... I'll show your SoundCloud, but what are some of the pieces of work you're more proud of recently that they could listen? You like that. So tell them what kind of music it is at first, because I like... Some of your things, and some of them are 2 levels above, like they're
too
like
much.
But I already get down, right? I'm thinking of me and my boy Ben. Like, I like dub house or dubstep, but like, and I like deep house, but like it. But then they both have levels in which could get to. I'm just in kill mode only.
Yeah, that's definitely like show music. Like the hardest shit. You can't. Like, I don't know how anyone would listen to that in their car or anything. Like, that's definitely and it's shit that and that's when I make it. It's meant to be listened to live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, so
what would you call it? What genre?
I don't know. I mean, it's still technically dubstep, but it's just I make weird shit. I make shit where like
I like
with like weird intros. I've been into that lately, just making like real cinematic different intros.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of just making anything.
Who are some of the people that when you got into everything you listened to a lot?
No one, because ever
Really?
since, yeah,
That's kind of cool. It's like a Wu-Tang formation in your own spot.
Yeah, one of the things that I've noticed that it kind of creates a lot of writer's block is I have A&Rs in the label that listen to demos, but then I'll sometimes go through them, and I listen to so much music on a regular basis that it kind of like changes the way I produce, or when I So like you're
not on an island with a thought,
right? So I actually don't like listening to other people's music.
Word. Yeah. Well, good.
I like playing other people's music, you know, definitely, and and definitely appreciate.
So who do you appreciate?
A lot of the up and coming guys. I mean, these like young kids make fucking like the hottest, weirdest like sounds, and their sound design is crazy. So, one that sticks out just because I was listening to one of their songs, their remix EP in the car was AT Aliens.
AT Aliens.
Yeah, their style is dope. They're like two dudes that don't show their face, that have masks with like red eyes.
Word.
Yeah, it's cool as fuck. Their whole branding is dope, and the music that they produce is super like it sounds like indigenous, like bassy shit, and it's just weird. I'll show you some shit. I know you'll like it. Actually, you will like it.
Yeah, we'll bump out on the JBLs right after.
And so like those guys,
I love the god level indigenous type.
Yeah, like the chants and like the drums, the real tribal drums type of shit. Yeah, that's the type of shit that they do. So
I get bloody knuckles. I'm just getting down.
Yeah, for sure. Down. So I've just been making different types of music. I have a lot of music stored away as well. I'm just trying to stack up and then just release music. Kind of like, I mean, I can bang out songs pretty quick as far as like when it comes to like the real like EDM trap stuff that's easier to make. I've been focusing more on like R&B, hip hop, like vocals. Like I want to win a Grammy type shit.
Okay, yeah. Dope. Yeah, well, I'll have to have Nicky Wild play a few things before we bounce. How do people? So on SoundCloud, how do you spell it?
Scrvp. It's Scrvp.
Yeah, so they would have spelled scrap differently.
Yeah, it was. It's just because the actual scrap was taken with the A. So I'm like, fuck it up, make it a V. And everything was available. I'm trying to make all my handles the same.
Yeah, the same.
So everywhere on just Scrvp.
Word. Okay. Know that. So how do you spell it again?
Scrvp.
Word. And they can find you on SoundCloud, Instagram with that
Twitter,
same thing, Twitter.
Yeah.
All right. Know that. I guess we gotta shout out fucking Your Attire.
Oh yeah, for sure, for lacing me with the dope.
Hell yeah. Throw them in that timetable contents.
Yeah, and their hats are pretty dope too. I have one of those.
Yeah, they were. He was telling me a little bit about that journey. It was interesting to hear him. I'm sure we'll be working with him more too.
Definitely.
All right, man. Well,
cool, bro.
Thank you very much for coming on. Enlightening conversation.
Definitely.
For sure.
Peace.
All right, be good. Cut it there.
Definitely enlightening.
Oh, for sure. We got into it heavy.
It all. Oh, you give it all to me.